To conduct a co-creation project, you need help of certain software tools, whether it's going to be an offline process or an online one, whether you want to conduct a brainstorming session that is going to last for 3 hours only, or is going to be a collaborative competition that will take a year. You still need these tools. They will be a great help to manage the whole process. And today I'm going to share with you which tools I use for hackathons and other co-creation processes. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel about co-creation. My name is Lisa and I spent 5 years organizing collaborative university competitions to help world well-known companies solve their extreme innovation challenges. And now I help businesses innovate and solve their R&D and business challenges with hackathons. Okay, so today we're talking about software tools you might need for your co-creation collaboration project. And I do believe that most of the tools I will be talking about today you already use in your everyday work, because some of them are quite obvious ones actually. Now I just want to highlight that still, despite the fact that you might use these tools, you might want to talk to your IT department, your IT guys, regarding using these tools with people from outside of your organization. And especially you need to talk to this IT department in case you are going to be using something new, because this is the question of security, this is the question of some policies that companies might have, especially if you work in a large company. Obviously there are always these IT rules that you need to keep in mind when you think about which tools to use. But let's just start talking about tools. And I want to start this conversation with communication tools. This is a kind of an obvious thing in a collaboration project. You need tools for communication, especially if you are conducting an online process or it's going to be a hybrid process where participants are located in different countries, in different locations. You, of course, need such a tool. You need a tool to conduct calls, and here I prefer to use either Zoom or MS Teams, though I know IT people, like IT companies, they hate MS Teams, but I do believe that for co-creation projects, MS Teams might be actually a very good choice. Personally, I like to use Google Meet for calls in my everyday life, but the thing with Google Meet is it does not provide enough data that you might want to get from a co-creation project calls, especially if you're working with a lot of people from outside. If you invite some universities, if you invite other organizations or just outside participants to co-create, to be a part of your hackathon, for example, of collaborative competition that you might conduct, you might want to get some data from the calls you're going to have. You might want to see whether all the teams members were on the call, how many questions they asked, how much time they spent. You know, like you want to get this data, and with Google Meet, it's not always that you can easily get these data. So I'll just go with some other tools, really. Zoom, as I said, MS Teams. Maybe you have some other tools for calling that provide enough information about your calls, your participants. Also, when it comes to communication, you of course need a tool for messaging. This is really important. This is something that you want to have with your hackathon, with your collaborative competition. I don't think you really need it for brainstorming, of course, because it's going to be like 3 hours only, or 1 hour. And here I would go with Slack. Personally, I'm a big fan of Slack. I love using it. You can go with Signal. You can also go with Rocket Chat. It's kind of a competitor. I would say it's a competitor to Slack, and it has a very similar interface, but it does provide better security. So if you work for a big corporate with strict security laws, and you need to choose a separate tool for your collaboration project, you might want to go with the Rocket Chat. Now, I would choose these tools because it's easy to invite people from outside. It's easy to create new channels, new separate channels for teams that might participate in your process. It's easy to create channels for certain topics that you want to discuss. It's just, the way you can organize this communication. It's just very convenient for collaboration, co-creation projects. And of course, you have this option of using MS Teams. If your IT guys are not against inviting people from outside to your MS Teams, if it's okay that they organize for you a separate space, totally fine. I think, it might be also very convenient to actually use MS Teams. Now, the next point that I want to discuss is file storage, of course, because you need to keep all these presentations, all this information that you gather for the project from the participants. You need to keep it at one space so that everyone connected to this project can get access to these materials. Now, you might want to split this information, and some of these folders, some of these documents you might want to share with your decision makers, with everyone from the company, from the client company, from your company. And some of these files you might want to share with everyone, with participants, with some other partners that participate in this co-creation collaboration project. So you might want to organize it in this way. But when it comes to tools, personally, I like Google Drive, but let's be honest, I just love Google environment. And I know that, again, not all the big companies love it, but I really prefer Google. And also Dropbox, obviously. Should I even comment anything here? Should I say anything here? Dropbox is a very, very famous file storage system. Now, the next point is about tools for brainstorming and collaboration. If you are going with an online process or a hybrid process, again, you need such a tool. You cannot just get this one whiteboard in your room and use it. You need a tool to let everyone participate in this brainstorming and collaboration sessions. And here, my preference is always Mira. It's the one and only for me. I really love this tool and I wouldn't change it for anything. I'm so used to it. I just create a new space for the project. I just create the words that I need to use. I create some templates for Mira, for teams, how we are going to brainstorm, how we are going to co-create with all the teams, with all the participants together. So this is what I use. I think I'm gonna do just another video about Mira, specifically about how I do these templates. But yeah, Mira is excellent for brainstorming in my opinion. But of course, there are many other tools that you can use. Again, Microsoft has its own whiteboard. Then we have Mural, we have ClickUp, we have Concept Board, even Canva. Canva is the tool for creating simple design. Even Canva has its own board. So this is something that you can find anywhere. Again, Mira for me is just number one tool. And as I said, for each brainstorming session, I just prepare custom templates based on the goals that we are trying to achieve during this particular session. Now, the next tool that you would need is a tool for voting and sharing feedback. You need this tool in order to identify the best solutions and gather feedback from participants, and you might want to make it anonymous. You might want to gather anonymous feedback, and this is what I always recommend doing so that everyone can share their thoughts and be as open as possible as they want. and I'm used to Mentimeter. I love Mentimeter. The interface is super simple and it's very easy to create new presentations with different polls, with different, slides where participants can just share feedback. You just do an interactive presentation separately from the main presentations of participants. You let everyone vote, you let everyone share their feedback during the sessions. And yeah, it's just, in my opinion, very easy to use and very convenient tool. You let everyone share their opinion during the sessions, during the presentations, and you get a lot of information that you can later use for your co-creation process. But there are alternatives to Mentimeter, of course, and they include Slider, they include AHA slides, and yeah, I'm pretty sure there is something else in the market. Now, the next point and the next tool that you need to organize a co-creation project is a tool for gathering and organizing information about the project. Of course, I did mention that you need a file storage system, but it would be nice to have a certain space where you can just, describe all the details about the project, mention all the useful information, mention where participants can really find this information. And here, a simple document would actually work, but personally, I'm an IT person, I'm coming from the IT industry, and we use Notion a lot there. It's developing so fast, it's growing so fast, and again, it's a very convenient and easy to use tool. It's so simple, I just highly recommend to use Notion. But obviously, there are other tools in the market like Atlassian Confluence, Mem, MS, Loop, Slap, etc. So many different options to organize this document, organize your information about the project. The next point that I want to cover is, of course, the task management system, and this is something just for you as a facilitator of the whole process, as the organizer. You definitely need it, especially when it comes to large projects, when it comes to organizing a hackathon or organizing collaborative competition that is going to last for a long time. I've been using Asana over the past years. Personally, I do like it. It's easy to use. Again, it's a very nice application. It's a very nice tool. And yeah, I believe Asana is my number one choice. But I also used Basecamp, I used Trello, I used Jira, but I don't think that Jira is actually a good option for a co-creation project because it's, I think it's a bit too complicated. Basically, any task management system that you use is going to work here. Now, I want to also talk a bit about AI tools for co-creation projects. Personally, if I'm being honest, I don't use any AI tools for my projects at the moment. We are testing a tool that MS Teams offers when it comes to calls, when it comes to recording all the information and then coming up with main points that were discussed during the call, summarizing this information from the call. And I do believe that this is probably the only way to use AI tools in co-creation projects for me as someone who organizes the process and who is responsible for facilitation of the process. Because I don't know, it's difficult for me to imagine why I would need to use an AI tool and where I could use it actually. I cannot use it for looking for teams because obviously it doesn't provide with the reliable information when I'm looking for universities, when I'm looking for teams to invite for a hackathon. I always do it myself because yeah, I mean, I tried to work with ChatGPT on that. Just, it provides some crappy information. It's, yeah, absolutely useless in that sense. For now, I don't see where else I could use AI tools apart from really recording and identifying the main points so that we don't miss anything. That's the only thing that such tools could help, in my opinion. What we do in co-creation project is so complex, and you need a human being, you need a human mind to think what you need to do, how you need to manage the whole process, which activities you need. Because yeah, it's a lot about empathy, it's a lot about feeling the atmosphere, feeling all the participants. It's a lot about communicating with humans. And here, yeah, it's a lot about trust as well. So yeah, you need to be a real human and communicate with everyone as a real human. So that's my opinion about using AI tools for co-creation projects. If someone is using them and are successful, please let me know. But honestly, that's not for me. I'm not a big fan of using AI instead of a human. And also one more thing about MS Teams, and I do believe that MS Teams can actually cover a lot of functionality that you need during the co-creation project. Not all of it, of course, not all of it, but most of it. And I know that a lot of corporations, they use MS Teams. I'm not a big fan of this tool, I'm sorry, but I use it and I'm used to use it as well. So I do believe it is actually quite convenient for co-creation processes. So I don't have anything against it. And again, if the IT department is happy, we are happy as well, and we can use whatever they want. Like, I do believe there are so many tools right now, and what you need is just to make sure that you cover all the functions that you need. So yeah, that's my opinion about the tools that you need to organize a co-creation project. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below as always, or just text me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to help you. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a good one and see you next time. Bye!